Yes, Beverly, it is a sad day. I think it's something that we've known has been coming for a long time, but have probably hoped that we could avoid. And with the change of leadership at Roscosmos in the last couple of weeks, perhaps there was some hope that we were moving away from Russia pulling out of the International Space Station project.
What does it mean? What does the end of Russia's contribution actually mean for what has been really quite a wonderful cooperation in space?
It has been a real icon of our ability, our capacity to work together for a long time. And the withdrawal from the program means things in both a practical sense because Russia provides the propulsion module to the International Space Station, which is necessary because it operates in low Earth orbit, which means from time to time it needs to readjust. Also, if it has to maneuver away from space debris. So from a practical point of view, we don't know if the module is going to stay and how it will be replaced, although we've had some of the US private providers say they can replace it. But I think more importantly is this sense of the fact that it has been such a testament to the ability of countries who weren't partners to work together, and the fact that the Russian space program took the American astronauts up to the ISS after the space shuttle program concluded. And that meant that astronauts would go and live in Russia, would learn to speak Russian. And that spirit of cooperation seems to have survived for a long time, but now it's coming to an end.
When you talk about replacing Russia's practical efforts at the ISS, do you think it's more likely that a corporate business would come in and take that over rather than yet another country?
So there are other partners in the International Space Station, but it is probably most likely that as the ISS is literally winding down, is coming to a close, we know that companies like Axiom Space are already sending up modules to the ISS. So yes, it's more likely that it will be a commercial provider who will be able to step in and provide those services. And ultimately the intention is that the ISS will be replaced by a commercially operated space station as NASA moves its focus onto the moon and beyond. And Australia is part of that as part of the Artemis project.
So, Melissa, tell us now, in terms of now the race being refocused towards the moon again, I mean, what might that mean if Russia becomes a protagonist again, or an antagonist, and potential cooperation with China even?
Yes, Beverly, that is something that is front and centre. So we know that the focus has now shifted back to the moon and beyond. And there are now 18 partners with the US in the Artemis project, which looks at returning the next man and the first woman and person of colour to the moon. And there will be a more or less permanent base on the moon. But we also know that Russia and China have plans also to construct a moon base. So it's starting to look more competitive than collaborative. So that the benefit of having all countries working together on the moon is that it fulfills that objective we have, that space should be a peaceful environment for nations and people to collaborate together. But the more separate projects you have going where they don't collaborate, the more likelihood there is for tension and competition on the moon.
And then some, possible catastrophe when we're still trying to explore this frontier. Russia talks about continuing to have a low orbit module of some sort, as does China. Does that get a bit, jammed out there?
We are very worried about low Earth orbit becoming congested, and we know that with the deployment of a lot of constellation satellites there now, also with the Russian ASAT anti-satellite test that was conducted last year, that both the ISS and the Chinese space station had to maneuver to get out of the space debris cloud. So the more that's up there, the more congestion there is, the more dangerous it is.
Yeah, it really is a bit of an end of an era to a degree. We've got a few years yet, and let's hope things might take a different course. Good to have you on. Thanks so much.
Thank you.